Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you're all having a great day today. Let me first start off by saying if you like fighting your enemies from 2 zip codes away, IronEye is your guy. He has great mobility, great range, great status build-up capabilities, a powerful debuff he can slap on enemies, and an absolutely devastating ultimate with the AoE on it of a semi-truck. And today I've got 2 builds for you guys. One build that requires absolutely 0 RNG, and a second build that takes a pinch of RNG. Also, if you guys want to see a more in-depth breakdown on this build or any other builds that I make sure to check out mobalytics.gg for not only my builds, but for a ton of other builds and guides on the website that can turn this game into an absolute breeze. And without further ado, let's do this. For our first relic, we'll be using the old pocket watch. This is going to give us dexterity plus 3, which helps our overall damage increase, our character skill damage increase, and our ultimate art damage increase, which is just overall great for this class, since dexterity is his main scaling stat for his damage. You'll be able to get this relic after clearing the Tricephalos expedition, and even if you do fail it, you have a chance of getting this thing to drop anyways, which is really nice. For our next relic, we'll be using the Blessed Flowers, which also gives us another dexterity plus 3, which means more damage. But if you want stamina recovery over more damage, you can always go for the Knight of the Beast relic, which you get from just clearing Tricephalos also, which means you can get both of these relics extremely early into the game. But overall, if you do go with the Blessed Flowers, it just means that you'll have even more damage to work with, which is really nice. And you can just build your stamina up during the run. For our final relic, we're going to be using the Knight of the Wise. This is found by completing the Sentient Pest Expedition. The passives on this relic are going to be increased maximum FP, starting armament inflicts poison, and poison and rot in vicinity increase attack power. And what makes this relic so important is because you can inflict poison, pretty much every Night Lord in the game except for 2, being the Augur and the final boss in the game, are susceptible to poison. And this just lets you put a chip damage Hall of Fame status effect on these enemies, rather it's poison or the Scarlet Rot. And once you do, you'll just be able to have your natural chip damage from your bow, your character skill putting even more damage that they take onto them, and then the poison just chipping away at them. And this just causes your enemies to get DPS down over time very nicely. But the real question is, what do you do to the 2 bosses who are immune to poison, being the Augur and the final boss in the game? Well, what you're going to want to do is during your run, find a weapon with Scarlet Rot on it or any type of Scarlet Rot source. And once you do, as it turns out, no boss in the game is immune to Scarlet Rot. And that means you'll have the ultimate chip damage status effect in the game. Your bow will help you deal chip damage, and your character skill will help you burst down enemies. And this just makes an amazing combo. You'll have an attack power bonus, 2 sources of chip damage, and a burst damage in the background with your character skill, which just does great damage. Moving on to our next build, our first relic is going to be the Fell Omen relic, which is going to allow us to switch weapons and boost attack power, and Vigor plus 1, which are the only 2 important things here. You get this relic by beating the tutorial boss, and if you lost to him at the beginning, you can go to the Visual Codex, go down to the Guide tab, and then click on the Guide tab again and press X. This allows you to retake the tutorial, and once you beat the boss, you'll be given this relic as a reward. If you aren't two-handing the bow, you can make this effect easily happen by just swapping out the weapon on whichever hand isn't actually holding the bow. In this case, it's the left hand, so if you press left on the D-pad, boom, easy attack power bonus. If that is too gimmicky for your taste, the Knight of the Baron, which you get from the Gaping Jaw expedition, is another decent option for a blue slot, as it gives you more critical hit damage, your art gauge will fill up when you do a critical hit, and critical hits boost your stamina recovery speed, and you can't go wrong with those 3. Especially since you will get a lot of staggers in playing IronEye's ability. And our next 2 relics are going to pair together here. So we're going to want to roll a random red gem that can give us starting armament inflicts frost. And then we're going to want to equip the Knight of the Miasma relic, which comes from the Fissure in the Fog expedition. Now normally as an archer you can't use this relic because you need the Chilling Mist armament to proc Frostbite, but bows can't take that. But by using the red gem to get Frostbite onto our bow, we get all the nice passive effects of the Knight of the Miasma relic, which are incredibly good for an archer. This relic allows us, once we've frostbitten an enemy and they're close enough to us, to go completely invisible and get an attack attack power bonus. That means as an archer, you get to have your full uncontested damage rotation, and you can walk up to enemies and put the damage debuff on them. And not only do they get the damage debuff, they get the frostbite debuff that gives them 2 armor shredding debuffs that stack together, which is incredibly nice for shredding down enemies. Aggro will be completely taken off of you because you're invisible, and it just gives you a ton less pressure on you as you're being an archer, so you can reset and create distance and attack from the background again. And that may give your teammates that are like tankier characters like Guardian or Raider to retake the aggro, and that helps your other DPS and you deal damage uncontested, which is fantastic. And yeah, the whole premise of this build is just like, what's better than putting 1 debuff on your enemies? 2. And of course, if your teammates are running Frostbite, it's best to maybe go with build 1. But that, you know, you have to coordinate that with your team. And if you're playing with randoms, you just have to hope that they're not using that specific element too. But even if they are, you still get the attack damage bonus and go invisible, so it's still a good deal for you either way. But that's gonna do it for the build here, guys. But as always, I got a few tips for you guys that I've picked up on this character while playing them if you want to hear them. Tip number 1 is to be on the lookout for sacred seals. If you're lucky enough to run across a sacred seal with Black Flame Blade or Blood Flame Blade, these things can absolutely slap on a bow and arrow. Black Flame Blade is going to allow your weapon to deal thousands of damage in a short amount of time, which while it is pretty FP costly, you're not really going to be using your FP much on this class to begin with, so it's definitely worth it. As for Blood Flame Blade, it's got a lot going for it. It adds bleed to your weapon, it adds fire damage to your weapon, and it'll go alongside your status effects just like the Black Flame Blade will, which means if you're doing a poison build, you're doing poison, bleed, and fire all on one bow alongside physical damage, which is really nice. Of course, if there are any other incantations or sorceries that you can find that give you an armament buff, be on the lookout for them and grab them. They just give you extra damage that work alongside your status effects, and you really have nothing to lose for it except some of your FP, which is perfectly fine on this class. Tip number 2 is when your teammates get knocked, make sure to line up the ultimate to not just hit them but hit the enemy. Taking those few extra seconds to line both of those up gets your ultimate so much more value, and it can feel so satisfying just destroying the boss's health bar and picking your entire team up. It feels so clutch. Tip number 3 is that your character skill, even though it is great for marking enemies, is a fantastic dodge roll. It's basically a dodge roll where you get to attack while dodging, and it is a super dodge. You can just lunge in any direction and get straight to safety, so it is super worth using whenever you're in a pinch. Oh, and did I mention it has iframes? Because yeah, it does. I mean, it's just a great dodge, like, and it's better for you to use that if you feel like you're about to take some serious damage than holding on to it just to try to get a mark and getting knocked with it. Tip number 4 is to aim for the head. That headshot multiplier makes them take more damage, and the more damage you can deal, the quicker the fight's over with. And that is gonna do it for today's video, guys. As always, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so very much, and I hope this build helps out. Also, if you don't mind, a like and subscribe helps out the channel a ton. And with that being said and done, next up is Wilder. Who do you guys want to see next? It's only the Recluse and the other one whose name I forgot. But hey, if you guys want to see those two, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.